welcome to another edition of the Did You Know Doctor Who, or what you may or may not know about Doctor Who. This time we're going to have a look at one of the most famous Ninth Doctor stories, one that is somewhat underrated, but still very beloved, Father's Day. I hope you enjoy. The Reaper's design incorporates the Grim Reaper in both the triangular head, which almost looks like a hood, and the tail having a scythe-shaped appearance. Working titles included were Wounded Time and A Wound in Time. This is the only time we see an unaltered TARDIS prop, as the gutted TARDIS is what's used on set usually. The Reapers are never explicitly named on screen. This is Billie Piper's favourite story she worked on. The baby Rose featured was mostly a baby prop, not an actual baby, save for a few shots. The story was originally not going to feature any monsters, but the BBC wanted to include new monsters, and thus the Reapers were created and added in. In the original script, the TARDIS would have collapsed and fallen apart after being gutted. Simon Pegg was originally going to be Pete, however his role would change to be the editor in the long game. The Reapers went through many designs. Originally they were supposed to be men in cowls based on the Grim Reaper. The final design retained some of this imagery, with the scythe-like tail. The original design was deemed too similar to the creatures in the End of the World, and so was reworked into something more otherworldly. They were also not originally intended to fly. There were also discussions of how much they should resemble animals as opposed to the Grim Reaper. The end result is a mixture of the two approaches. The final design had the shark quality, bat wings, and a mouth influenced by a praying mantis. Vulture sound effects were also used for its screech. Originally, Pete would have drank some wine before sacrificing himself. However, this was removed as the production did not want the correlation of alcohol and bravery. Paul Cornell based Pete on his own father, as his father was a man who attempted many jobs and schemes but didn't get anywhere. Production was hell during this filming. The cast had to work in constant changing weather, and an illness struck the crew, with Christopher Eccleston having a bad cold. To get a 1980s style, the cast and crew brought pictures of themselves and family members from the 80s to get an actual picture. Jackie's actress, Camille, wore a wig during this episode. The CGI for the Reapers is some of the most expensive and time-consuming creations for this first series. In an alternate version of the story, the Doctor would have communicated with Rose through a disembodied voice. The Doctor being taken out of the story is partially due to Christopher Eccleston's father being in hospital at the time. The filming took place in November of 2004. The Reapers were originally called the Vanishers. Despite the high on-screen and arguably off-screen death toll in this story, the story actually has only one proper death overall, as everyone else is resurrected. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Father's Day is genuinely a very, very good episode, and it's one that I find kind of underrated. Hardly anyone ever talks about it. However, I can see why this might have some issues. After all, a lot of the whole changing time or changing events can happen a lot in Doctor Who, and yet we never really see the Reapers ever again, despite the fact that the Reapers are meant to heal the wounds in time. I do like this concept, and I really love this story. It's a genuinely dark story, but it's also an emotionally driven story. It's one that gives Rose a lot more character and gives us an insight into Pete, and obviously we will see Pete later on in the parallel universe. Overall, I love this story, and I'm sure many of you do too as well. It's just a shame that it doesn't really get talked about that much. Father's Day is genuinely a fantastic episode from a fantastic first series. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Did You Know Doctor Who, and I'll see you next time.